certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankin'. It's a fun one today. We're going to be talking about J.K. Simmons movies. I've got a great panel here. Over here we've got Brian. Brian, how's it going?
Good, good. Good talk about a great character actor. J.K. Simmons has a great bunch of roles, and see what we come up to light.
We've also got Zach here. Zach, how's it going?
Good. It's been a while since I've been on Rankin', but I have a good list, and let's see what movies make the list.
And we've also got Steve Mace here. Steve, how's it going?
It's going very well. I believe this is the first time I've done Rankin' with these two gentlemen, and I'm looking forward to see what sort of witty banter we can come up with tonight's topic being J.K. Simmons.
Yeah. And we may have one more person joining us too. Depends on when he sees the link. How Rankin' works is we're going to go around and nominate a movie we think belongs on the top 12 list of J.K. Simmons movies. And then we'll say, everyone else will say yes or no to it. Because at the moment it's only a 4-person panel, it is going to come down to the other 3 people on the panel whether it makes the list or not. But Ryan, what are you going to bring up first?
I'll go bring up one of the obvious ones. I'll go with their franchise. I'll go with Spider-Man 2 on this one. I say for this one, he has more screen time to begin with. He's lots of great scenes, especially where he comes up with the line, the character Doctor Strange. That's a good one. Even you see him as a Spider-Man suit as well in certain scenes. So I'll go with Spider-Man 2.
Zach, what do you say about Spider-Man 2?
So while I do have a franchise movie on the list, I don't have Spider-Man 2 as that pick. So for that, I'm going to give it a slight no.
Steve, what do you say about Spider-Man 2?
As much as I love Spider-Man 2, I think me and Zach are thinking the same thing here. I believe so. So in terms of franchise, if I'm going to pick one over the other, I'm going to have a slight no.
Yeah. For me, I would have suggested Spider-Man 2. It's pretty, and as well as I love Spider-Man, I think it's great. Like J.J. Abrams has more presence in Spider-Man 2, and it definitely is a good showcase of his ability. So unfortunately, Spider-Man 2 is not going to make the list.
Wow.
Zach, what is your first nomination?
Okay, so I'm not going to go as obvious, but something that I think a lot of people have heard of. I'm going to go with Klaus, and he is the main voice of Klaus, and I think it's a somewhat underrated but now getting more appreciated Christmas movie, and I think it's a good performance, especially voice-wise. So I'm going to go with Klaus.
Steve, what do you say about Klaus?
I mean, definitely. I would say definitely yes. We're going with the better Santa Claus role here. Definitely, Of course, I'm not referring to something that came out this weekend. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But yeah, I actually caught up with this movie recently because of getting ready to do this show, and I was just blown away how amazing the animation is with the combination with the different using a 3D lighting effect for hand drawn animation, which is something I haven't really seen use it in many movies. I don't think I've seen it since 2019. And I mean, not only is this a great role for J.K. Simmons as Claus, but I mean, a great role in Jason Schwartzman too. I mean, you also have freaking Will Sasso, you have Joan Cusack, I know there's another name I'm just blanking on it, but yes, I'm gonna go say yes on Klaus.
I love Klaus. I think it's great. I actually rewatched it for this just because when we're in the season start watching the movies anyway. It's it's just one that I've been meaning to get back, give a rewatch because I loved it the first time I saw it, and I just really loved it here as well. I think it's great. So it's an easy yes for me for Klaus. Brian, what do you say about Klaus?
This is a blind spot for me, so I'm safe for this one.
But with that, Klaus is going to make the list. And Steve, we go to you for your first nomination.
I mean, I'm going to dip my toes in where Brian dipped his toes the first time with the franchise, and I'm going with, the first Spider-Man. Again, nothing against second Spider-Man 2. I love the second Spider-Man 2, but the fact that you have one of my favorite wrestlers, Macho Man Randy Savage, as a Bones on the Grill. Yeah, he got 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime. Yeah. And I mean, it also introduced basically our first introduction to J. Jonah Jameson. We've always seen him in cartoons as played by Ed Asner in the animated series, but we never really got into live action until we got him. And J.K. Simmons literally is like, he's such the perfect incarnation that they brought him back again for a reiteration of a different universe of Spider-Man. And definitely in many voice roles as well, too. And many other cartoons that he's so good, he can't get any other person besides J.K. Simmons to be J. Jonah Jameson, even if you tried. So with that, I'm going to say the first Spider-Man.
Yeah, so this is the tricky one for me because, like, I love the first one. I do think it's great. I really do think J.K. Simmons is great as J. Jonah Jameson. I'm going. It's tough because I'm going to go a slight yes, just because it'll be a shame if we don't have any Spider-Man movies in this list in the end. But Brian, what do you say about the first Spider-Man?
Yeah, the poll will go bananas if you don't include Spider-Man in the poll. It's a yes for me. Perfect. It's a perfect casting. We talk about perfect casting. J. Jonah Darth Vader, J. Jonah Jameson, J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson. Perfect casting. So yes.
Zach, what do you say about the first Spider-Man?
Yeah. See, Steve and I were thinking the same thing. When you think of J.K. Simmons and Spider-Man, this was the one I was thinking about, was the first one, because I just feel like you get the first introduction to him, and I feel like he has a lot of screen presence in this movie, and that's the one I always think about when you think of J. Jonah Jameson. So it's a yes from me.
But the first Spider-Man is going to make the list, and that comes back around to me. And I'm going to go for this one, see what happens. I'm bringing up Chippendale Rescue Rangers, and J.K. Simmons plays the Gumby style police officer, and this is Chippendale Rescue Rangers. I think is just complete entertainment from the get go. If you grew up with the TV show, which I actually didn't, I've never seen the actual TV show Chippendale.
You should when you get a chance.
This is just one of those ones that I had a lot of fun with the show in general, because I think it was just entertainment, and even just the cameos and stuff they throw in there, like you had Seth Rogen being attacked by Seth Rogen, and it was just really fun and a really good sort of bring back to the live action hybrids where they start. I really hope that Disney does a continuation of this or somehow. I think you could do more with this concept. But Brian, what do you say about Chippendale Rescue Rangers?
Yeah, it's going to get a yes for me. It's a great Roger Rabbit and the modern era of it. I agree. J.K. Simmons plays an interesting role as the cop. Has some great lines there. I'll give it a yes.
Zach, what do you say about Chippendale Rescue Rangers?
It's funny because I didn't have it on my list, but I have seen the movie. It's an interesting experience. just to say the least. You know what? I'm going to go kind of against my list, and I'll give it a slight yes.
And Steve, what would you have said about Chippendale Rescue Rangers?
That would have been my next pick. If we were going to go back around, I definitely was going to pick Chippendale Rescue Rangers. The show itself, I literally grew up on the fucking part of my language, the show. So like, just the fact that they were doing a TV movie adaptation of it got me all hopped up, and the fact that it's directed by Akiva Schaffer, who directed Pop Stars and is going 2 for 2 for movies, my friend. Not only that, it won an Emmy for Outstanding Television Movie. So yes, and yes.
But Brian, we go back to you for your next nomination. What are you going to bring up?
Yeah, I'll bring up a recent one of his. I'll go with Saturday Night, actually, on this one. He doesn't have that much screen time, but his role as Milton Berle steals the movie. He has his interaction with Corey Michael Smith, who plays Chevy Chase, and even have him dancing one scene for a TV show he's in. And for the limited time he's in, he steals the show. So Saturday Night is my nomination.
Zach, what do you say about Saturday Night?
It's going to be yes for me. It was on my list, and that was like one of the scenes that people remember from this movie is that interaction with him and Chevy Chase, and it just like it's such an interesting scene, but I enjoyed his character in it, so yes for me.
Steve, what do you say about Saturday Night?
I'm going to definitely say yes. The fact that you could basically have J.K. Simmons have a prosthetic penis in the movie, I think it's a little bit of a plus there, because that you don't see it, but you see, you kind of like, there was a prosthetic penis that he wore on the set. And just I like that the movie right now, it came out like a month ago, and it's kind of getting getting retraction now because of how similar Philip Seymour Hoffman and Cooper Hoffman performances are together, and it's getting a lot of social media traction. So I like how it's kind of getting a little bit of traction, even though it kind of did in the box office. So I'm definitely saying yes to Saturday Night.
And I haven't got around to Saturday Night yet. I just haven't had a chance to get the movies all much the past few weeks. But it's still going to make it list. And Zach, we go back to you for your next nomination.
Okay. I'm going to go with a movie that I really like. And he plays a smaller role in it, but I think he provides a good role in it. And I'm going to say I Love You, Man. I feel like his role as the father and like how he still embraces both of his sons, but also gives some comedic lines in there as well. I really enjoy the movie, and I liked his performance, so I Love You, Man.
Steve, what do you say about I Love You, Man?
I'm going to say yes. I second Zach's comments. I mean, he does have a little bit much smaller role. Then again, he's a character actor in a lot of the roles that we mentioned on here. Besides Klaus, he does kind of have a supporting / smaller role compared to everything else that we're going to talk about. Unless there's a couple roles we'll talk about probably later on. But yeah, man, I Love You, Man. It's probably one of the best comedies of the 2000s, and it's still memorable at today. I mean, I don't think you can. I mean, you can put basically Rush and I Love You, Man into the same hand, because I mean, having that conversation with Tom Sawyer and Rush, and Joblin, just bringing up really awkward conversations, and like how sometimes when you leave conversation, they come and end up awkward, and that's never been really approached in movies until I Love You, Man. So I think it's really relatable, and also the fact that I got to talk to Paul Rudd for the press tour, it gives brownie points on that movie as well. So yes.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen I Love You, Man. I remember liking it a lot. I think it's great. But so yeah, I'll give it a yes. Brian, what do you say about I Love You Man?
Yes, that's been the best. It's been a while since I've seen I Love You Man, but I remember enjoying it. I agree with Zach and Steve. He had a little bit of role, but he does have some good screen time, so I'll give it a yes.
That I Love You Man is going to make the list. Steve, we go to you for your next nomination.
All right. This is my shot in the dark. I doubt that anybody's seen it, but I have to mention it. I saw it last week, and I'm going to bring up Juror Number 2. Juror Number 2 is possibly Clint Eastwood's last film, and it sucks that the studio has limited the access to so many little theaters. But if you ever get a chance, if it's available on streaming or wherever it's near you, if you get a chance, please watch Juror Number 2 because I think it's an excellent film. It's basically like an expanded version of 12 Angry Men, except if one of the jurors was responsible for what happened. So if you think about how that comes to play, plus it boosts an excellent performance from not only J.K. Simmons, a very small role but a key role. But as a former Chicago detective, but also a great performance from Nicholas Hoult, great performance from Toni Collette, even from Cedric Yarborough, the officer from Reno 911, delivers a really good, surprising performance from what I expected. So it's a shot. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to nominate Juror Number 2.
I haven't seen it. It's not out of New Zealand yet, so
Yeah.
Brian, what do you say about Juror Number 2?
I haven't seen it either.
And
Worth a
Zach,
shot.
what do you say about Juror Number 2?
I mean, you kind of sold me on it, but I haven't seen it, so it's kind of hard to vote for it.
No, it's a little bit of a win. As long as I get people aware of it, that's fine. I just wanted to mention it because, again, the movie got released in, I would say, 150 theaters nationwide, and that's pretty bad for a Clint Eastwood movie. So as long as I mentioned it, and hopefully people get to see it, and probably will have more eyes on streaming. But it kind of sucks that the last Clint Eastwood movie we'll ever see, it's probably going to get more eyes on streaming than it is on the big screen.
I mean, it's probably one of those ones that like they were burnt with Horizon, and that with not many people going to see that, so maybe you will like this courtroom drama. Not many people are probably going to see it, like, and it sucks, but it is what it is.
I think it's coming to Max. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe it is Warner Brothers that's doing it, so it's probably going like HBO Max. Makes sense. But moving on to back to me. I'm going to go for this one. Like, go for another one with a more sort of meteor roles. And I'm bringing up 2014's Whiplash. And like, depending on how you want to phrase it, he's kind of a villain in this movie as well. And yeah, Whiplash is just one of those ones which, like, J.K. Simmons is most how have a really good sort of relationship in this, and I think it's a really good movie. And yeah, it's one of those ones like I've heard stories of some teachers being like this in real life, and it can be quite sucky at times, but it sometimes it is what it is. And but the movie itself is quite good, and I think J.K. Simmons is great in it. But Brian, what do you say about Whiplash?
Yes, it's a yes for me. He won the Oscar for that one. I believe he swept the award circuit for Whiplash, and I played a very messy role, so it's a yes.
Zach, what do you say about Whiplash?
Yeah, it was actually my number. It was my second movie listed on my list, so it's a definite yes from me. I think it's it's an amazing performance, and it really grips you the entire time. So it's a yes from me.
Steve, what do you say about Whiplash?
Absolutely, J.K. Simmons. I mean, let's not also mention that Miles Teller holds it pretty well against J.K. Simmons, but this is a towering performance from Simmons. It's probably, I think, this is probably the best movie performance from the 2010s. So I mean, it's really gripping. It's stress inducing. It's just very, if you're very, if you have a lot of anxiety, this is probably a movie not I would have recommend, because it really puts a toll on you if you're like that type of person. But yes, Whiplash definitely deserves to be on this list.
But with that, Whiplash is going to make the list. But easily, Brian, we're going to go to you next for your next nomination.
Yeah, go see how this one goes. Maybe another one for 2000s. 2000 Extract by Mike Judge. He plays a sporting role in this comedy with Jason Bateman. Like, he has some great comedic moments. Him not recognizing people's names, but their ethnicity, and the movie people don't talk about that much. So I'll shoot my shot for Extract.
Zach, what do you say about Extract?
I haven't seen it, so I can't judge it.
Steve, what do you say about Extract?
I have seen it and I can judge it. I'm gonna have to say no. It's, for me, it's really Mike Judge's probably weakest movie. And I really didn't. There's not a lot of things that are really attractive to me on it. I've only seen it once, but from the first time I've watched it, it didn't really left any more of an impact on me as watching, like an adult fire log. No offense, but yeah, I'm gonna have to say no.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching Extract. I do like it, and I think it's good. But yeah, it's going to be a slight no for me as well. So unfortunately, it's not going to make the list. Zach, we go back to you for your next nomination.
Okay, so I'm going to shoot my shot with this one. I'm going to go with Hidalgo. He plays Buffalo Bill Cody in this, and it's a great race movie. It's a non-big three sports movie that I really enjoy, if you want to count horse racing as a sport. And I just think it has a lot of tension and a lot of action and a lot of good performances. And he plays Buffalo Bill Cody, like I said, in this. And I'm going to throw out Hidalgo.
Steve, what do you say about Hidalgo?
Are you gonna throw? I'm gonna say no. Same reasons for Extract. First, watched it the first time, didn't leave an impression, so I don't think it should be on this list. I think there's other movies that I have on my list that should be higher or should be included, and Hidalgo's way low on there, way low. So I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, no. I once again, pretty much the same thing as Extract for me as well. I like Hidalgo. I think it's good. It's just not one I'll probably go back to again. And yeah, so I'm going to say no as well. Brian, what do you say about Hidalgo?
I haven't seen it.
Steve, we're going to go back to you for your next nomination.
All right, so we already talked about one Andy Samberg movie. I'm going to talk about another Andy Samberg movie, and that's Palm Springs. Palm Springs is probably one of the funniest and most inventive original comedies I've seen in this past decade, and it takes basically quadruples the premise of Groundhog Day, and I think, don't get me wrong, I think it actually might be better than Groundhog Day. So I mean, I might be in the minority here, but you have Christine Malone. Now getting traction for the Penguin, Andy Samberg and and J.K. Simmons as a fellow time traveler that's in some sort of feud with Andy Samberg that you find out later on what it's all about, and it kind of had a little bit of a hard moment there. But I mean, it's funny, it's inventive, and it's, like I said, it's probably one of the best comedies of the last couple of this decade. So I'm going to go nominate Palm Springs.
Yeah, Palm Springs, I think is great. It's just one of those creative, and it took me a while to realize that was actually J.K. Simmons as the guy that was chasing after them and trying to kill them. But he's really good in the movie. I think it's a lot of fun, and yeah, it's a really good sort of time loop movie. So it's a yes for me. Brian, what do you say about Palm Springs?
I haven't seen this one either.
Zach, what do you say about
No,
Palm Springs?
I haven't seen it, so
Damn.
it's on my list to see. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Fortunately, Palm Springs isn't going to make the list. Comes back round to it comes back around to me. And yeah, I'm going to shoot my shot here for Juno. J.K. Simmons plays Juno's father in this, and just and is just does a really good job of like being this whole like supportive father and like help her out and all that. It's just one of those ones that I think Juno is a really good movie. I'm always going to go back to it a lot, and I think it's one of those ones that is really good at kind of telling a story about like teenage pregnancy and that and all that. So yeah, Brian, what do you say about Juno?
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Juno. May need to rewatch it, but I do enjoy J.K. Simmons in the role, so I'll give it a side yes.
Zach, what do you say about Juno?
Yeah, so I have seen it. It's been a while. I need to rewatch it, but when I did see it, I did enjoy it. So it's getting a slight yes from me.
And Steve, what do you say about Juno?
Oh, you're getting a full on yes. So you got these people doing slight yeses. You got a full on yes from my friend. Yeah, it's. I mean, I like he playing the supporter, but he's also not afraid to fucking give Juno some shit too, because he like the fuck were you thinking? And but at the same time, he's giving that little bit of that tough love, like you know you did wrong, but at the same time you're still my daughter. We're about to have a grandchild. Still love you, but you still fucked up. So. I definitely, Jake, even for a role such as, I mean, Allison Janney and J.K. Simmons are probably the ultimate parent people to play parents, for sure. So yeah, for sure, you get a full on yes from me,
But that Juno is going to make the list. Brian, we go back to you. What did your next nomination?
Yeah, I'll see how this one goes. I'll bring up another anime film by his, Zootopia. He does the voice of Mayor Lionheart. Doesn't have that much screen time, but he does have a good presence in the role. So I'll try for Zootopia.
Zach, what do you say about Zootopia?
Yeah, it was going to be one of the next ones on my list, so I'm going to give it a yes.
Steve, what do you say about Zootopia?
I'm gonna give it a slight no because I want to try to see there's other films that I have higher on my list that I think are a little superior to Zootopia. Nothing against Disney. Maybe I'm just a little mad that Zootopia. I don't know if Zootopia beat Kubo and the Two Strings. I think it did.
It won the Oscar.
But it beat Kubo, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why.
Because same year, so.
So yeah, no, because it'd be Kubo.
Yeah, I mean, I think Zootopia is a good movie. I really enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun, and just with some of the stuff that has either been knocked off, or like probably won't come up just because of his roles are really small in it. I'm going to say a slight yes to this. I think it's good, and I think it definitely should be on this list. So Zootopia is going to make the list. Zach, what is the next one you're going to bring out?
See, and I was going to bring up an animated one for mine too, and it's another small role, but he plays the warden in Megamind, so I'm going to bring up Megamind.
Steve, what do you say about Megamind?
I'm gonna say no because like I barely even remember J.K. Simmons as the warden. But I totally understand why you were nominated, and it's the movie itself. It's okay, but I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, this you know, just because I kind of do really like the movie. I don't really remember J.K. Simmons in the movie that much, but I like the movie enough to say yes to it. So I'm going to go a slight yes here. But Brian, what do you say about Megamind?
Yeah, for me, I do enjoy the movie, but I'll give it a no because he's there for only one scene, not enough for the movie, so it's a no for me.
With that, Steve, we go back to you for your next nomination.
All right, I know we talked about one scene here, so I'm going to bring up a movie that he's basically in one scene in, but I think it's a pretty great movie and a powerful scene as well. So I'm going to bring up another Jason Reitman movie. I'm going to bring up Up in the Air. Yeah, he only has one scene in the movie, but that scene is to have Anna Kendrick do her first firing, and that was in no wait, what was it? No, my bad. I might be confusing two people. So no, it's the one of the first scenes in the movie where George Clooney comes in. He one of the first people that he fires in that movie is J.K. Simmons. So I believe that's in the beginning. But I think with that movie is what something I really enjoyed about it. It takes the perspective of these people that come in, go to companies and just like lay people off. And it not only gives the perspective of the people that are laying people off, but all the people who are being laid off, and show you different perspective on how they're feeling and what their perspective is. So this is a shot. I know it's only one scene that he's in, but I think it's a pretty great opening scene for a movie like that. So I'm going for Up in the Air. Let's see.
Yeah, this is tough. Like, this is one of those ones. Like, I took the perspective. Like, there's some movies I love that he's in, but he is only in the small roles that is like, well, that I wouldn't bring up myself. But I was like, well, if someone brings them up, I might say yes to it. And yeah, and this is one of those ones like, well, yes, he is only in the movie for like one scene. I think it's one of those scenes that adds a lot to the movie as well, and I think it works, and I think he does a really good job of portraying this and setting up what the movie is in this scene. So I'll give this a slight yes. Brian, what do you say about Up in the Air?
Yeah, Up in the Air is one I haven't seen in a long time. I had to do rewatching it, but I do not remember him in the movie that much, so it's no.
Zach, what do you say about Up in the Air?
Like Brian, it's been a while since I've seen it. And I'm going to give it. From what I remember, I enjoyed the scene, so I'm going to give it a slight yes.
Yes. The Up in the Air is going to make the list.
It's now down to like to the nitty gritty of.
Yeah, we've got 9 spots left.
I thought there was like 3 spots because
No, yeah, I think we have.
It's what I meant to say.
Yes, yes.
But anyway, it's on to me. I'm going to try for this one. I don't know how this is going to go. I'm going to try for a Susan Sarandon movie called The Meddler. This is a really good movie. Basically, the plot is about Susan Sarandon plays this mum who keeps on sort of meddling into kids' lives and that, but ends up helping other people out and meeting J.K. Simmons. She just walks onto the set of a movie one time, gets mistaken for an extra and all that. Then she meets sort of this cop, J.K. Simmons, and falls in love and all that. And I think it's a really good story. And J.K. Simmons is good in the movie. I don't know how this is going to go because I don't know how many people have seen this movie, but I'm going to try for it and see what happens. Brian, what do you say about The Meddler?
one thing, Malcolm, I haven't seen this movie.
Zach, what do you say about The Meddler?
Up until you brought it up, I had never even heard of this movie, so I have not seen this movie.
Steve, what do you say about The Meddler?
Haven't seen it.
Brian, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
Yeah, I'll go with a movie he's in 1 or 2 scenes in. I'll go with La La Land on this one. He plays the owner of this restaurant where Ryan Gosling performs, and then he fires him afterwards for not playing the right music. See how this one goes? I'll go with La La Land.
Zach, what do you say about La La Land?
Brian, stop reading my mind. That was going to be my next one that I brought up. So it's going to be a yes from me.
Steve, what do you say about La La Land?
Yes.
Yeah, this is another one of those ones that was really tough for me because I love La La Land. Like, any chance to bring it up, I would have brought it up earlier. But yeah, like this is but once again, this is one of those ones that is high up on my personal list because where I rank my letterbox lists, I rank them based on movie, not how much screen time the actors have in said movie. But it was also one of those ones like I know he isn't in the movie much, but it's going to make the list anyway. So I'm going to say a slight no just because I've got I think it's just too small of a role personally, but it's going to make the list regardless. Zach, what are you going to bring up next?
Yeah, I'm going to throw out this movie, and I don't know how it's going to go, but we'll see. I believe he's only in one or two scenes, but I'm going to bring up 2013's Jobs, the Ashton Kutcher version. I remember watching this, and I enjoyed the movie for what it was. And I know he plays like someone that's interested in acquiring Apple. So I'm going to bring up 2013's Jobs.
Steve, what do you say about Jobs?
I say no jobs. Sorry.
I was going to watch it for this, and I was like, yeah, no one's going to bring up Jobs. There's no way. And I was wrong. So yeah. Brian, what do you say about Jobs?
Yeah, no jobs for you. No for me.
That's the unfortunately Jobs isn't going to make the list. Steve, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
I'm going to bring up a movie I actually saw last night for this list, so I want to see how this goes. I'm going to bring up Being the Ricardos. I think this was I mean, we're talking about Saturday night and the making of the first episode of Saturday Night, and this is the making of an episode of I Love Lucy, and I think it brings it's like very interesting how they do it, and being directed and written by Aaron Sorkin, whose script I think is pretty darn good for this one. J.K. Simmons played William Frawley, who plays one of the neighbors for I Love Lucy, and I think he doesn't imitate William Frawley for what he does on the show, but I think him and Nina Arianda make like a perfect like yin and yang co-stars because they both fucking hate each other's guts, and that definitely translate onto the screen. But I really also enjoyed Nicole Kidman's performance and Javier Bardem's performance. Like I said, I mean, it's not exactly to the T of exactly being like that, but like I think this is a worthy nomination. Again, we'll see what happens. So I'm gonna, like I said, nominate Being the Ricardos.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Being the Ricardos. It's one of those movies that like I just don't get the love for. And I barely remember the movie as it is. Like I haven't seen it since it came out like 3 years ago. It's like, so I haven't really thought about returning to it. So yeah, I'm gonna give a slight no just because I don't really remember JK in the movie. I don't remember the movie at all. Brian, what do you say about Being the Ricardos?
I haven't seen it, but it's Jamie, so I'll give it a blind yes.
Zach, what do you say about Being the Ricardos?
So, if I remember correctly, I think he was actually nominated for supporting actor for this. And looking at what I have left on my list, it is a movie that I haven't seen, but I did want to see it, and I just never got around to it. So I'm going to give it a slight yes.
Yes.
Just given what's left on my list. So
that Being the Ricardos is going to make the list. Comes to me. Anyway, for me, on to me. just because a lot of what I've got here is relatively smaller roles ish. I'm gonna try for this one, see what happens. I'm bringing up Justice League. I'm pretty sure he's also in. It does it like look you. I know you're going to be asking which version. But I'm going to say it doesn't matter because it's the same. Like it's essentially the same movie. Zack Snyder's Justice League is basically an extended edition. So I'm just going Justice League because I think regardless of the version, J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon is still the same in both versions. And I think he's great in the movie. And yeah, so I'm going to shoot my shot here for Justice League. Ryan, what do you say about Justice League?
Yeah, basically for Justice League, Trace that team is decent. The Dark's better, but I'll give it a slight yes on this one.
Zach, what do you say about Justice League?
Just like with the last one, I'm going to give it a slight yes based on it's better than what I have left on my list. So
same.
Steve, what do you say about Justice League?
Yes, I'm giving a yes to Zack Snyder's Justice League. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yes.
Look, I'm standing on the hook. The 2017 Justice League was not bad either. I think it was still. I think it was still good.
It was bad. It's pretty bad.
It was too red. There was too much red in that movie.
Yeah.
Too much red. Too much stuff.
Look, it was. I'm not even saying Zack Snyder's version was bad. Like I like that just as much, but I still think this 2017 one was still good. But anyway, that does bring us to the I think I'll just double check. Yes, that brings us to the end of this. Ryan, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Yeah, the other one I had on my list was Patriots Day. I had Kung Fu Panda 3, Bird After Reading, and he's quite. I enjoyed the red one. Those are my honorable mentions.
Zach, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
So the only other ones I had on my list were For Love of the Game, 21 Bridges, Terminator Genesis, and The Lady Killers.
Okay.
Jesus,
Steve, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Not that, but I had Thank You for Smoking. I know smaller role in Jennifer's Body, but it's still funny. Burn After Reading, and that's about it. Pretty much. Maybe I would have probably included The Accountant. But yeah, not much
I agree well, Steve, on The Accountant. I agree with that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was tossing up between like Justice League and The Accountant. I decided to ultimately go for that. But for me, some of the honorable mentions that I had, like he's in it a bit. It's still a very small part of this movie. Spider-Man No Way Home as an honorable mention. I think like he's at least like decent for the amount of times he pops up in that. But once there's another one that I probably would have said yes to had someone out actually brought it up. There's this movie that I watched for this called Ride the Eagle. I didn't bring it up because I don't think anyone had seen it. He's a small role in it, but I think he's good in that. And if you haven't seen Ride the Eagle, I do recommend it. It's a really good sort of movie about like grief and all that. And that then a movie I watched for the first time last week for Hugh Grant, Extreme Measures. But once again, he's only a small role in it. I probably wouldn't have put it up, but he's still decent in that movie. But with that, it's time to rank what we've got. Just to recap what we've got on this list, we've got Klaus, Spot, the first Spider-Man, Chippendale Rescue Rangers, Saturday Night, I Love You Man, Whiplash, Juno, Zootopia, Up in the Air, La La Land, Being the Carters, and Justice League. But time to vote on what we want to be at 12. But a couple we've got in the chat. We've got 21 Bridges, Jennifer's Body, Father Figures, The Accountant, Labor Day, which I do, which was again another one I watched was, which I think is really good. Contraband, and this one wouldn't have counted because he's basically a cameo in it anyway. But yeah, but Brian, what do you have for 12?
Just because the blind, yes, be the Ricardos.
Zach,
The same reason, being the Ricardos.
Steve,
Zootopia.
Just because like he doesn't really have a lot to do in the movie, La La Land. But being the Ricardos is going to be at 12. But Zach, what do you have for 11?
Up in the air.
Steve,
Zootopia.
sticking with La La Land. Ryan,
Zach remind me to like Up in the Air.
Jeez.
Steve, what do you have for number 10?
Zootopia.
Sticking with La La Land. Ryan,
For 10, I'll go with Zootopia.
and Zach.
La La Land.
So I've got a two-way tie. I've got Zootopia and La La Land. Comments. Comment. Anyone in the comments? Comment the movie you want to see at 10. And just to remind you, it is La La Land and Zootopia. First comment I'll see. I'll get a reel just in case. Oh, Jacob is the first one to come in, and he said La La Land.
Yay.
And yeah, I will say it did pay me to vote this low, but it's like he's not really in the movie that much, so yeah.
Fair enough.
It's on me for 9. I am going to go Justice League. Brian,
Zootopia.
Zach,
Zootopia.
and Steve.
Zootopia.
Zootopia is going to be at 9. Brian, what do you have for 8?
Justice League.
Zach,
Justice League.
Steve,
Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Justice League 2017.
PS3.
Justice League is going to be at 8. Actually, kind of getting really harder for me. But Zach, what do you have for 7?
Juno.
Steve.
Saturday night.
Spider-Man. Brian.
Again, me and Zach, why me Juno?
Jesus.
No, it's Juno, Steve, not Jesus.
Oh, my bad.
Jesus
I
didn't
was
make
going to
the
say
list.
Juno. Jesus is not in Juno, but I mean,
They sure say Jesus is alive in Juno, though.
Well, true. But Steve, what do you have for 6?
Saturday night.
Spider-Man. Ryan.
I love you, man.
And Zach.
Chippendale.
Christ.
We've got a 4-way tie. We've got Saturday Night, Spider-Man, Chippendale, and I Love You, Man. The first comment I see will be the one that decides what breaks the tie. And it is going to be Leo, and it is going to be Saturday Night.
They're going to be number 2.
But I mean, the comments would have been very agreeable anyway. But Steve, what do you have for 5?
I love you, man.
Second of Spider-Man. Brian.
Steve, I love you, man.
Aw.
Zach.
Chippendale.
But it is going to be I Love You, Man.
This is a very interesting top 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just to recap what we've got left, we've got Klaus, Spider-Man, Chippendale, and Whiplash. I'm sticking with Spider-Man. Brian.
Chippendale for number 4.
Zach.
Oh, damn it.
Chippendale.
Steve.
You hurt my nostalgic heart, Palm Springs.
But
that was not one of the 4.
yeah, no, Palm Springs didn't make the list.
Oh, I didn't make the list. My bad. So hold on. Did I
We've
just
got
say it?
Klaus, Spider-Man,
Klaus.
Chippendale, and Whiplash.
Klaus. My bad.
Klaus. But it's still going to be Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
He's trying to pull a fast one on us, isn't he?
To be fair, it might have worked had I realised that's what he said. It took me a while to realise, like, hang on, no, wait.
Try to pull knife balls on us.
I will say, had our fifth person turn up, he probably would have voted yes to Palm Springs. It would have been on the short list. And I don't know why I erased my board, but I'm sticking with Spider-Man for 3. Brian.
I'll go the great fish from American Dad, Klaus.
Zach.
Spider-Man.
And Steve.
Klaus.
So going to the comments again, Spider-Man versus Klaus. The comments decide who wins.
That'll be a good movie, actually. Spider-Man versus Klaus.
Yeah, that'll be the Spider-Man Christmas movie.
Anna versus Jake versus JJ.
The first comment that comes in, sadly, is Leo, and it was Klaus.
There we go.
But Jacob would have gone Spider-Man, so the chat would have been split on that. But now we're down to the final 2, which is Spider-Man and Whiplash. And instead of voting for number 2, we're going to vote straight for number 1. But Brian, what do you have as your number 1?
That's whoever Spider-Man.
Zach, what do you have for number one?
Whiplash.
Steve, what do you have for number one?
Listen, I'm not rushing or dragging just to put this at number one. Whiplash.
Yeah, it really should be Whiplash, and Whiplash is, and that is what it's going to be. But that is the end of ranking for this week. Just to recap, our top 12 J.K. Simmons movies. At 12, we've got Being the Ricardos. At 11, we've got Up in the Air. At 10, we've got La La Land. At 9, we've got Zootopia. At 8, we've got Justice League. At 7, we've got Juno. At 6, we've got Saturday Night. At 5, we've got I Love You Man. At 4, we've got Chip and Dale. At 3, we got Klaus. At 2, we got Spider-Man. And number 1, we had Whiplash. But with that, next week's episode of Rankum is going to be top 12 TV show spin-offs, which should be an interesting topic. But Brian, we can be on you online.
Yeah, you can find me probably up here sometimes. Periscope, do some ASATs or a lot of time first time. We heard Network. I was on there yesterday for my tournament match. So I'll be there tomorrow with Malcolm, talking about best family movies, part 1 for best to worst. I think for tournament fights, I'm going to be on the Michigan tournament this week, and also on Multiplex.
Zach, we can be on you online.
Yeah, you can find me on Letterboxd and YouTube at MovieFanZ, and you can find me on Periscope for ASAT, on the Movie Hero Network, and on Multiplex.
But Steve, we can be on you online.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I said you wanted my address. No, you can find me online. You can find me online at Mesa Media 1 on X, also at Steve Mesa. You can also find me on IG at SMesa85. Also, you can find me if you want to Blue Sky. I'm at Blue Sky, Mesa Media Blue Sky. So doing all that jazz stuff. I got a lot of videos coming your way in the next month. Definitely have a Fantasy Super Cosplay Wrestling recap or music video featuring what was done in Raleigh, North Carolina for GalaxyCon. So that's coming up tomorrow around high noon. So check that out.
But you can find me on TV Productions hosting Rankum every week. Next week will be TV show spin-offs. You can find me on my own personal channel doing Spear from the Past. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. I'll have Austin on to about WCW Sold Out from '98. And yeah, I'll also be on Best of Worst Family Movies tomorrow as well. And you can find me popping up here, there, and everywhere. I'm going to be on Caro's Top 64 on Movie Network as well this week. But until next time, that is the end of Rankum for this week. And as always, keep enjoying movies and keep listing shit.
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.